take a moment and talk about leadership challenges. I've had the chance to visit a number of medical centers over the last 6 weeks. The first medical center I visited as the acting secretary was Phoenix. At every one of these visits, I meet with large groups of employees to hear directly from them what they believe the issues are, to answer their questions, to address their concerns, but most of all, to listen. At Phoenix, the room was full. It was not a large room, small room. There were 75 people in the room. So many people wanted to attend that session, they had to hold a lottery to select the 75 that got to come. It was a cross-section from across the medical center. Everything from surgeons to scheduling assistants to physical therapists to IT technologists, a complete cross-section. One after another, they stood, they raised their hand and shared with me their frustration and sometimes their anger as they described what they had to do to overcome the obstacles that were in their way to take care of veterans. I would say roughly half of the people that stood and spoke were choking back tears. These are people that care. They believe in our mission and they work hard to take care of veterans every day. As I came back and reflected on what I had heard that day, three conclusions. Mismanagement, leadership failure, and chronic underinvestment. Now, interestingly, the very next day, I went to visit the VA Medical Center in San Antonio. As I went through that center, everywhere I looked, around every corner, what I saw was excellence. Not just in the facilities and the equipment, but in the people, in the sparkle in their eye and the spring in their step as they talked about the things that they were doing to care for our veterans. When I met with the press that afternoon, I meet with the media at every single one of these events. I told them I wished every veteran in America had been standing at my side as I went through that center, because they would have been proud of what they had seen that day. I would tell you, ironically, the harder of these two visits for me was San Antonio. Because everywhere I looked, I realized, but for leadership, that could have been Phoenix. But for leadership. Since those visits, I've challenged VA leaders to explain to me the difference between Phoenix and San Antonio. And every explanation I get boils down to that one word, the leadership. And I would also tell you, as a dimension of that, what I've been talking about an awful lot internally, which is ownership. Taking ownership at all levels of the problems that we face, both large and small, as we're working to deliver care for veterans.